Sup guys, Jordan here. Today we are joined by my friend Avi Arya, who is the owner of Internet Moguls, the biggest hospitality marketing agency in India. And I've been wanting to get Avi on for a long time just to have a chat and quite selfishly to pick his brains on his secrets to their agency. He grew from a one-man team to over 150 people. I've worked with some of the biggest brands in hospitality such as Hilton, Radisson, Blue. There's a lot more than that, isn't there, as well? Sheraton you've worked with too. So
Sheraton's, the Mariott, Thai Airways, almost every hospitality brand, yeah.
So huge brands. And there's a lot to be learned from Abi because he's at the peak or still continually growing this agency as well. But of course, there's so many of you guys who are aspiring agency owners and existing agency owners. So we're going to jump into picking Avi's brain today and seeing what information we can squeeze out of somebody's scale to that point. So Avi, for the benefit of everyone else who maybe does or doesn't know you, regardless of that, can you give everyone a bit of a rundown of who you are and what it is you're doing?
Sure. I always say the shortest distance between two human hearts is a story. And so I always appreciate the opportunity of sharing my story. I'm going to make it crisp and to the point.
Cool.
My name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. I'm 44 years old. At the age of 18, all I wanted to do in life was to race streetcars. I thought I'd become a streetcar racer. That didn't happen. My dad lost a lot of money in his business. I, as the elder son, was asked to take care of the business with him. Got into the business, which was a small motel. Early days, internet, discovered the internet. We were the first movers by far. My first book is called The Accidental First Mover as well. 5 years, we grew the motel business. We had about 4 motels. Then we started a travel agency by 2005. And by 2009, I was speaking around the world, sharing the story of how I was able to be one of the first, maybe 10 people in the country to understand the internet and grow a business. All these large brands came to me and said, can you speak on stage for us? I started speaking on stage. People said, we love what you've done. Can you do it for us? That's where in 2009, I thought it's time to actually branch out on my own. So I started a company with a 4-member team, completely bootstrapped. It was not called digital marketing back then. Internet marketing for brands. Which brands? I don't know. I just knew hospitality. So hired 4 people. I had no idea what job titles to give them. Hired 4 people, started working with hotels. And then for the next 10 years, we worked with almost every single hotel brand on the planet.
Amazing. So what are those 4 people doing? And that's a struggle that we have. I mean, we're hiring constantly for new people, and then their jobs diversify so much. It's like, what do you even put on a job listing when you're trying to hire somebody to do like 1,000 different things? It's so difficult. Exactly. So what were those 4 people doing, including you, right, when you first started?
So initially, I told all of those people, you have to be able to write and speak very crisp and clear English. Mm-hmm. And you must be relentless on the phone. Never say I'm tired of making phone calls to be able to reach out to clients, either for new sales or calling them to ask them how they're doing. Mm. And of course, everybody said, yes, we can do that. They were not very sure where this is going to lead them. But out of the 100 plus people that we have, 10 of them have been with me for 11 years.
Oh, that's amazing. So yeah. You've got that company culture deep within you. That's maybe something we can jump onto later on if we've got the time for that. How do you go from logistically? How do you go from, because I'm going to get to that point, but I don't know how you go from 4 people to 150 people without your mind imploding. So what's the hiring process like? What are you looking for in people?
You know, the thing is, it's I wish there were more people more entrepreneurs, more agency owners who would come out and say what I'm about to say, which is that it sounds very fancy looking back and saying, here's how I connected the dots. But going forward, almost nobody knows what they're doing. Mm. So you're shooting in the dark. It's at best, if you're an experienced entrepreneur and you've worked in the past for an agency and now you know what worked for your previous boss, at best, I didn't have that privilege, but at best, if you're still doing that, you're still walking through mist. Walking through a foggy a few years. And so the future is always like that. It's always uncertain. You don't know what you're doing. Should you get one high ticket client and immediately build a team to serve them? What if he leaves? What happens to this team? Yeah. So sometimes you take risks and punts and you say, I'm going to make sure that I give a 3 people team an army of people to surround this client, make sure he's serviced 7 days a week. He'll never leave me, and which never happens, by the way. And then take care of, and then grow your business from that. However, what I realized in my agency was very early in the day, I've not been a businessman in terms of being a shrewd business person. I think being shrewd has its own place. I've not reached that stage yet. I followed a lot of Gary Vee and I followed a lot of my father. Both of them said one thing: give more and expect less back. You'll be more happy. Expect more of yourself, but not so much from others, but still give more. So I said, I started giving revenue shares to the extent of up to 20% per client if he's continued for, say, 2 years, to the project manager. So apart from getting a salary, he would get up to 20% of the share of what the client is paying the agency, just one project manager and his team. So every time the retainer came in every month, they got paid. So it was not me following up on how is the client doing or why is he happy or not happy. It was their client. And every time I addressed them, I said, how is your client doing? How are you doing? How is your business doing? So it was always about them. I think that helped 75%. 25% later, I did have challenges with the same team who I said, this is your client, this is your client. Tomorrow, when I wanted to make a strategy change, they said, hey, this is our client, because that's what's been drilled into our head. We're not listening to you. So, I mean, everything has a pro and con. But for the most part, the scaling happened because I made almost everybody a revenue share partner.
That's incredible. And you're getting that full commitment from the team, because it's almost like they've got a micro business inside your business. I mean, it feels that way because they're proactively working to make sure that the company is happy. Because and I think that's a lot of thing that employees don't consider normally. Even when you're in sales, when you're getting commissions anyway, you don't really care about the company you're working for as much, because there's no really real benefit for you to do so apart from you're getting your job done and you're getting paid. So I think that's something we do. We do it a bit slightly different. So Tom, one of our accounts manager, gets a percentage of the return on ad spend that we get for our clients. So it's still incentivized for him to get incredible results for those clients and manage that relationship. But I think that's an amazing way to do things. But what people shouldn't get confused with that is you're still paying these guys basics as well, aren't you? Yeah. So I think a lot of agencies try and hire people just on commission but that doesn't really work on its own, does it?
So a full salary, market price salary, and then a very heavy incentive. So exactly, always give what you want. So I want to be very comfortable in my financial life. And I'm sure my team wants to be very comfortable as well. They should not feel that they should not think money should be the last thing that they're thinking about. And if we have clients, I'm not giving them the money, the client is giving them the money. So that, having said that, I've always seen this as leaving your child, because your agency is always your child. You're leaving your child with an uncle or an aunt, and they love the child like an uncle and an aunt. They'll still never be a parent, but it's still better than leaving a child with a stranger who doesn't care, right? So having expectations to the level of knowing who you're leaving the child with will take care for a few days, and then you have to go in. So I've always maintained client relationships, calling the clients. And there was a point we had 712 active clients. So the only way for me to get in touch with every single person was, I said, I will release incentives or profit sharing only after I have a 9-star ranking report from everybody. So we need to get a 9 on 10. If we don't get a 9, it's fine. We'll still work on it. But I need that report from everybody saying, I rate your agency 8 or 8.5 or 9. And here is why I'm not giving you a full 9 or what I expect. The clients who give us the 9s or the 9-star report, you can take the incentive for. So they actually had to call the client and say, you know what, I need this report and all of that. So that really helped us sort of keep that positive pressure on both sides. So the client would never easily give the 9-star. And these people also knew to earn the commission, they had to show me that report.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you're incentivizing good client relationships through incentivizing your account managers or your product managers. So that's That's such a great way of doing things. I haven't really thought of doing it like that. Well, I suppose that's a kind of an issue that really only comes upon your desk when you've got that kind of large number of clients where you physically cannot oversee all of that. I mean, it's incredibly hard. And so I'd like to get a bit of an understanding of what your client acquisition strategy look. I know it's going to be different now because of how large your personal brand has become. But back then, what was your client acquisition strategy looking like? I know you mentioned cold calling. So are your product managers or your project managers or account managers, whatever you call them, are they proactively signing up clients, or do you have a separate sales team as well? And if so, what is the process?
Sure. So initially when I started, so I love talking, I love building relationships, I love telling stories. And so I actively used to, so initially when I started, all of a sudden from finding success and saying you're the internet poster boy of the early 2000s and all of that, as a youngster, it did get to my head. It should not have, but it got to my head. Oh, you know what? I know how this internet thing works. I had no idea. Two small successes didn't mean anything. I should have kicked myself in the shin right then. But that's what my mindset was at that point. I felt invincible. So, but that helped me. On the ego side, I should not have had it for myself, but it did help me because it gave me super confidence to be able to walk into hospitality conferences. I realized for the first time, nobody cares because if I did well in two businesses, now I walked into a completely new arena. I'm going for hospitality conferences. Nobody wants to talk to me. They don't even know me. So I'm 6 feet 2 inches and I'm a tall, large man. So I got my Internet Moguls jackets done. And these kind of very, jackets, which were very my brand would show prominently. I would sit and there are 1,000 people listening to 3 speakers on a panel. And I would raise my hand, stand up. I didn't need to stand up. I would stand up and say, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, streetcar racer, turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. And my question from the panel is as follows.
Yeah.
Now, what that allowed me, and I would stand throughout the answer. What that allowed me to do is when the panel dispersed, out of those 1,000 people, about 8 or 10 people came and said, hey, I liked your question or whatever. So I got instant attention. And from a conference, I was able to at least get 8, 10 people to talk to me and all of that. But then finally, very soon, I realized that the only people who everybody wants to listen to are people on stage. So I reached out to every single person who was an event planner. I used to make short videos. I still do. And I reach out to people saying, great event. This is what I've done. This is what I've researched. This is my topic. Would love to do a 20-minute slot. I promise you, this will be one of the top 5 slots for your event. And that's how I started getting my speaking engagements for conferences. And when you get on that stage, then 1,000 people are listening to you. Then your leads start flowing in. It's the fastest. It was the fastest way back then, at least. And so I did all of that myself.
You can do that in a micro way. I mean, there'll be a lot of people watching this thinking, Avi, come on, man, I can't get on stage and speak to 1,000 people, right? There's going to be a lot of people thinking that. It's an incredibly daunting thing to do. I remember speaking to my first 100 people was incredibly scary, even recording my first ever YouTube video. But in a micro way, right? And I know it's different. I'm sure it might be different where you are in the world right now, but certainly in the UK, we're still in lockdown. We've got the pandemic, everything going on. Networking events, though, when we're allowed to do them, is like a micro version of that. You get to put yourself on stage and introduce yourself to other people in your city. And I'm not talking about like ones that don't matter. I mean, I'm talking about purely business lunches, brunches, right, whatever they are. You get an opportunity to speak to, when you're first starting out, people in your local area who are in business. And as a new start agency owner in a competitive industry, which it is now, where lots of people are delivering the similar services, getting yourself out there locally is always something that I recommend people to do, because you can build that reputation, get some case studies, and then branch out in the big wide web when you're competing against the big dogs, right? So I think in a small sense, for people that may seem intimidated by speaking on stage, you can do that through creating content online. You can do that through networking in your local area. You don't have to jump into something massive and jump into a big conference.
You know what? In today's day and age, today, in February of 2021, the best way to get clients, email 5 marketing heads or 20 marketing heads who are not paying attention to who you are. Mm-hmm. Ask them to come on a panel discussion. Call it the uprising, the summit, the hospitality series, or whatever you want. You know what? The affluent summit for the top CMOs of the country. Call 20 CMOs. 10 will say yes. make them look like superstars, interview them, make it a 3-hour summit, interview each and every one of them, send questions beforehand, show them the professional approach that you have throughout. You'll get 3 hours to build a relationship with those top 10 people, out of whom I promise you, 5 of them will ask you, what exactly do you do? Can we meet and get in touch or whatever? And then you do a summit every month or every 2 months. That's the best way to get clients today.
Yeah, and you get access to that network. And
100%.
Nobody says they can refer clients to you as well for services that they're not fulfilling already.
100. Nobody says no. Most people don't say no, based on time. For an interview, which is structured like a panel or a summit, and you tell them how much, if you have an audience, great. If you don't have an audience, that's fine. Just say, I will spend $500 on Facebook ads to be able to get 10,000 views on our interview together or our panel discussion together. Mm-hmm. Get your clients to talk to you for 2 hours and they feel happy doing that. That's what you want. We want to build a relationship. They're not giving us 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Call them on a panel interview. They'll give you 2 hours. Yeah. That's how you build a relationship.
Yeah. Because ultimately the people that are watching those panels as well are the people that want to learn more about marketing, aka business owners, aka your potential clients. So
in fact, what I'm saying is that is 100% true, because when you talk to them, ask questions back and forth, you are getting what we call branding by association. You're now on stage, or at least a virtual stage, with the top 10 marketing people in your city. But I'm saying those 10 people are your prospective clients. Choose your prospective clients and give them the stage.
Okay, I like it. So it's like a proper backdoor way of getting in with someone.
100%. And they know what's happening and they're very comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think one thing that and again, lots of people listening to this will kind of be intimidated by the concept, because what you're talking about now is reaching out to companies who are very large, right? And you actually skipped what 99% of agencies do these days, including myself when I first started out. You and I could tell the look on your face when I said about local networking events, because you don't even mess around with like some local restaurant or local bar. I mean, I'm sure there's services you can offer to a company like that if they reach out to you, but you're not reaching out to those kind of companies. You're not putting yourself in front of those companies. You're looking at Hilton, you're looking at Radisson Blue, you're looking at massive conglomerate companies who can pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially, right? These aren't $1,000 a month retainers. This is a way to build your company. That's the only way you go from 1 to over 150 and 200 employees at one point. So I think the lesson to be taken from anyone here, even on a micro scale, is don't be afraid to reach out to bigger fish. Don't be afraid to reach out to those, because ultimately that's what's going to get you that quick scale to numbers that other smaller agencies cannot reach. And it's certainly something, it's definitely food for thought for me. I mean, to be honest, this call is just as much a humbling conversation to hear about what I can do as an agency to progress myself to the next level at the same time, because there are things that our agencies are on completely different paths, and there are so many things that we can do to reach out to bigger clients and to reach out to big companies. And I'm the first to hold my hands in the air and say, I'm only just getting started. Whilst we've had good success in our industry, we're nowhere near the biggest agency in the UK. We're not even in the top 10 agencies in the UK. And we'd be arrogant to say that we even were. And there are so many things that we can do to get in front of those bigger names. And especially with the brand that we have as well online, we're in a perfect position to do what you're saying right now and reach out to big CMOs.
Two things here. One is that I never want to be the biggest agency. I want to be, let me reverse that. The first few years, I wanted to be the biggest agency. Then I realized very quickly, I wanted to be the most profitable agency. Doesn't matter how many people I have. I want to be the most profitable one, because the world fools you into, and when I was in the travel industry and I was doing my hospitality work with my dad, I got so many awards, and my dad used to say, my mom used to say, look at my son, he's got so many awards. My dad used to say, you know what? All these people are fooling you for making you think you're larger than life. And, I just want to see the money, because that's what you're here for when you're doing business. So in the agency world too, I realized that there's too much glitz and glamour, and we, sort of attach our identity to that. So don't be the biggest, always be the most profitable. And now, how do you be the most profitable? My first 2 clients came to me themselves. One was the Sheraton and the other one was another big brand. I'm forgetting, but they came, and that's how it started, because they were like, we want to work with you and all of that. So, but my first client that I went to myself was a chain of hotels. And I'll tell you why. I said, this was back in 2009. I said, I can't go to $1,000 client one by one. I want somebody who can give me at least $10,000. So when I went to hotels, I realized hospitality industry, how it sounds very glamorous from outside, but they have very minuscule marketing budgets because
Mm-hmm.
most of their business is coming from Expedia and all of that. So 50% of that is taken care of, 50%, 30% from corporations, 20% from business networks. They have about 10 to 20% scope for digital marketing. For that, they have about 5% revenue that they share. So they don't have a lot of money. So I said, what? But I still want 10,000. When you stick to what you want, you'll find a way around it. So what I did was I went for small chains which had at least 10 hotels. And so $1,000 per hotel, and I got 10 hotel. I pitched to those people. I pitched them $13,500 for the contract. I knew they're going to negotiate. We negotiated for 3 months. They came to $10,000. That was my first ever contract. I came back to the office and we were like extremely happy. We're like, this is what we're going to do. A 1-year agreement with a 60-day exit clause. In 4 months, they said that we don't want to continue. A big lesson in life that even if you get a $10,000 client, you cannot rest on your laurels. I was sitting on that client saying, you know what, I've got a contract for 2 years. The contract means nothing. After 4 months, we had just those two clients before the 10,000. And now I'm again back to where I started from. Again, a big learning. Don't stop. Every day, look, there should be a moonshot every day, which is the biggest client you can get. And the biggest client, once you get, research. I go and look at their competition and I look at what they're doing. Number one. So 3 things I tell a client. When I make a show, I pick up the phone, I make a micro video and I send it to the top guys of any industry, even if they don't know me. And I did it even in the beginning. Hi, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to superwoman, streetcar racer, turned hotelier, now social media marketer, founder of Internet Moguls. This video is going to be there. This is a short 3-minute video. Please watch till the very end because in this video, I'll promise you and I'll show you 3 ways on how you can save up to 30% in next 3 months. Okay. Number one, I see that I've gone through your website. I've gone through everything. I see that you have a beautiful 100-room hotel. 50% of your business comes from third parties who you're paying 40% commission. What if I showed you a Google AdWords strategy to be able to get direct business on your website at 10%, thereby saving you 40% acquisition for every customer? Sounds interesting? Second, I saw your restaurant that you have. You have a great restaurant that does very well on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're struggling to get people in. What if I ran a Facebook ad campaign for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and happy hour meals in the 5-kilometer radius of your hotel? People will come with their phones. They'll show you the campaigns, and you'll give them the table for restaurant in your restaurant, and you'll know this campaign is run by us, so we'll know how much business we're driving, and we'll take care of your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thirdly, I understand you have a beautiful banquet hall where you can do weddings and corporate events. When I tried to book an event, I saw they said in 24 hours somebody from your team will get back. Instead of that, how about I run a LinkedIn campaign to the HR heads of all the corporations that are in the 10-kilometer radius of your hotel? By doing that, they will reach out to us. You and I both know if a client reaches out to you versus you reaching out to a client, the chances of conversion are much better. And even if I get you one extra banquet facility, a banquet conference by this strategy, and you and I both know that the profitability for the whole month will be very different. I'm coming to the end of my 3-minute video. Thank you very much for your patience. At the end of this call, there is a Zoom link. Please click on that Zoom link to book a 20-minute call with me and my team. On that call, we'll do 3 things. I'll show you what you're not doing. I'll show you what your competition is doing. And I'll show you what we can do in 3 months to make you zoom past your competition with a guarantee to save at least 30% in your restaurant, room, and banquet business. 3 minutes are completely up. Thank you very much for watching this video. I look forward to the Zoom call. Once again, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, streetcar racer turned hotelier, now founder of Internet Moguls. See you on the Zoom call. Click. Then
that's a man who knows his pitch.
then I'll take this video and I'll use a tool like Vidyard or Video Ask. Video Ask is a great tool. I just interviewed the founder last week. Great people, great company. I love them. So use that tool to send a video message back and forth to them. Nobody's doing it. Use a tool like Vidyard to send a video email. Nobody's doing it. And book that call with those people. Once you book that call, so it may happen that the senior person says, I like the audacity of this person. And even if he's super senior, he'll assign it to someone to say, just see what this guy has to hear.
Yeah.
And so whoever's coming on the call, I'll do a 10, 20-minute research on LinkedIn to see what that person is and what does he want. He's a sales manager. He wants a promotion. So I will not step on his toes to say, I'm going to take your sales and bring them online. He's like, he will never want to hire me. I'll show him how he can work less and we can do everything else. It's not rocket science. The problem in an agency is never getting sales, according to me. The problem is the execution and the operation and keeping the team on the same page.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That's so valuable for everyone. And this is actually, and I'm so glad that you did that, because you're literally just reconfirming everything that I say to people. Video outreach is incredible. Putting your face in front of someone is unrivaled, because people can see your face, they can see your enthusiasm, they can see your body language, they can assess you as a person in that micro video that you put out. So.
Also, the main thing, I love your website. I think it's one of the best. And what you're doing for agency owners is you're actually throwing a lifeline to agency owners, because most agency owners are 1 month away from folding up. 1 month away. Even if they don't admit it to themselves, they know it. Especially when they're listening to this, I know what's happening inside their heart. They're skipping a beat. And I skipped a beat for many months in those last 11 years. But for them, they need people like Affluent to be able to give them a platform. And I wish you guys were around when we started. So, great service.
Thank you so much, Avi. I appreciate that, man. And I couldn't agree with you more. Profit margin is so important. We still run at a pretty much 90% profit margin in the agency now. I'm sure that's going to change as we grow and as we expand and as we keep taking on new people. And just one thing that you were saying just before you went onto the pitch was about like getting high ticket clients. And I think that I think a lot of agency owners hit that wall by not wanting or not having the confidence to quote on high ticket clients. I mean, I remember when I quoted on my first ever like 6-figure deal, and it felt so scary and so daunting. And like what you said at the start of this call, right? You're shooting in the dark the whole time. You can follow in other people's footsteps, but you never really understand it until you do it yourself. I quoted a deal for £347,000 last week for a big international car manufacturer. And really big deal. I didn't really know what I was quoting. I was like, I needed to speak to other agency owners, bigger guys who are bigger than me. I'm humble enough to say that. And I was like, okay, I've got this deal. This is what they need. Where do I even start with this? And until you do that and you get a couple of deals, you're not going to be able to find your feet, but you have to have the confidence to reach out to and at least communicate or network with those bigger fish to start off with. Because if not, you'll always stay at that 10 to 50K point a month.
You know what? This is a very interesting conversation. Imagine your company a few years ago. The number that you have in your mind of what makes a decent contract, say £10,000 or £5,000 a month. There are many agency owners who are right now listening to this interview and saying, what, Jordan, you could 5,000, I can't even quote $1,000. So it is all in the mind. It is two things: the people you hang out with, and the second thing I like to say is the price that you quote to a client has got nothing to do with what with that term called expensive. It is a direct correlation to my self-worth in my own eyes.
Of course. And also, people massively underestimate the value to these companies as well. Like I couldn't believe the first time I did a deal for a big social media company who paid me over $100,000 to create two very simple internal training videos for their sales team, which were simply training their sales team up on social media. And this was at the start of last year. And I couldn't believe that this was them coming to me saying, we want to pay this amount. There wasn't even me quoting that, but it's the value that this is to that company as well, of course, as well as your time. Because if someone came to me now and needed half a day's worth of my time, I'm not getting out of bed for less than 5 figures to do that. Like, I'm not spending a day's worth of my time where I can be investing that in growing the business or doing something else. Or even if I'm not having a particularly productive day, you still value or perceive your time completely different. And it's not arrogant or you're not getting too big for your boots to value yourself.
No, you're 100% correct. You have to know what makes business sense for you and then map it with market value, because the value is created by the market. If the market has a value for an iPhone, the market has a value for a $100 phone. So the market determines the value. It could be the brand, it could be the features, it could be the ecosystem, it could be everything around. So I reverse engineer. I always tell people in the agency world, look and see, when I go for a big hotel company, or today we work with a lot of coaches and we help coaches get known, get leads, get sales. I always see what is it that I can do for them. Can I take them to 200,000 a month? My fees is then 25,000 a month. If I can take you to 100,000 a month, my fees is 15,000 a month. If I can't take you to, if I can take you to 500,000, my fees is 50,000. So it's 5 to 10x value over a year. You should have no problem. Be 100% committed. Now, the question is, Avi, how do I actually measure without working for a client? How do I actually know exactly how much revenue I'm going to give him? And then he wants me to put the KPIs and the KRAs and everything is formatted. Let me tell you one thing. The client is shooting in the dark and so are you. Nobody knows exactly what numbers to give in all these proposals. For the last 10 years, I worked with some of the largest brands. They have no idea. We have no idea what numbers will be met at what given time. But you walk in, again, that word is audacity. Walk in with the audacity to say, I will change your life. I always make larger than life promises, and then I work my butt off to make them happen. And that's how it goes.
I've said that so many times. I always use that Richard Branson quote that if you get offered an opportunity, say yes and worry about it later. And I say that to people and they look at me like I'm crazy, but it's so true. Like it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Every job I ever had before I started my business, I blagged my way into that job, but I made sure I got that shit done. Like, how can you get a senior job position if you haven't had a senior job position? There's got to be there's something there, isn't there? You can't just jump into senior jobs. And so I was doing jobs at 20 years old that other people were doing at 40 years old. So it's just like, you have to be audacious. Like you said, I like that. I love that.
100%. Go full. Like, I don't know if you follow cricket, but go play on your front foot. They say just go on your front foot. Don't be defensive. And obviously, like I said, make sure that you deliver. Make sure that you deliver. Make a big, bold promise and make sure that you deliver. Figure it out. And also, the one thing I wanted to say was, today we're not aggressive on hiring. I'm on Upwork. I'm on Fiverr. I'm on Craigslist. And there's some amazing human beings who are so good and who would never want to be working in an agency full time. So I hire people for 2 hours here, 5 hours there, 10 hours there. And so I'm every Friday, every single Friday, I do two things. Either I'm getting on an interview like this, either I'm interviewing Jordan or I'm being interviewed by somebody, but I'm also interviewing at least 2 to 3 new people with no idea if I'm going to hire them or for what project. Because I get to know what's happening in the market. And I reach out to people saying, as a project manager inside my office, but you'll be doing the content, you'll be doing the graphics. So you find such amazing people when the world becomes your oyster. So don't think that an agency is a group of people working in one physical location will never get you the best talent, because the best talent would not want to come only to the UK or only to Vancouver or only to India to work in one. They're everywhere. So let them be everywhere and access them.
Avi, it's always so humbling to speak to you and have these conversations, because sometimes it's easy to look in my position where I'm looking at the agency as itself as a standalone business, doing multi-six-figure profits, and to get complacent and to almost run on a treadmill a little bit. Sometimes easy just to maintain where you're at, get a couple of clients, lose a couple of clients, and be happier with the position, because the finances, once you hit that certain financial position, you get the life that you want to have, you have the freedom you want to have. There's no push to go much further than that, right? But when you have these conversations with people like yourself, who's been there, who's done that, who's been so much further ahead, it's so humbling, and it also gives me that push to drive further forward, and always gives me ideas to what we can be doing as well. I'm definitely going to be doing that, reaching out to big CMOs and putting them in the pedestal as a reverse sales engineering. I love that. But what would you say to somebody who's watching even me and is like, okay, Jordan is light years ahead of where I want to be, let alone Avi, okay? Avi's just someplace in the distance, right? What would you say to somebody who's just starting off in their agency? Maybe they've been cold calling for a while, they're getting some rejections, they're getting a bit bummed out, getting a bit tired with not really growing. What would you say to that person who's struggling to get their agency off the ground?
Excellent question. Two pathways to success. Number one, look at maybe a chain of restaurants in your vicinity. Go dine there, have a couple of beers, understand what's happening, prepare an extensive video report on what's working, what's not working, what can be better. And then create a video and ask for the founder's 10 minutes and show him, say, at the back of my thing, you see a TV running with all those videos. Those are actually me and my team going and eating, dining, and drinking at your places. And these are the list of 7 things that we have done to make sure that you can improve your revenues. We put in 6 hours to be able to do this, and we spend $200 for our dinners and everything. That's just to show you that we are committed to making a change. I need 30 minutes from you over a Zoom call to be able to explain to you how this strategy can help you make 20,000 pounds a month. The link is in the comment. So put in that hard work and then reach out to that one person. And nobody will say no for a free call to say, oh my God, this guy's got so much research on me. They're going to do it. So that's one. The other thing is that, people underestimate the power of a big promise. So I would run a Facebook ad and I say, this is my name. This is what I can do for one brand. So talk about a story. 29th of October, 3:00 was when the client actually put pen to paper. This client was a large automobile dealer, and he gave us our first contract, $15,000 per month, and I had to give him this. So I did this, this, and this. Now it's January, and finally he's renewed the contract for 1 year. You know why? Because we were able to give him 45% return. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, me and my team, Tom and Jill and all of these people are extremely excited. And now I'm making this video only for car dealers. And we're going to be working with 2 more. All I want is 30 minutes of your time to show you the strategy that works for some of our biggest clients and to be able to get 2 more clients in the next quarter. Once again, we'll do a 3-month pilot with you, after which we'll do a 1-year contract. So you're not stuck for a long term till both of us fall in love and decide to get married and have a long-term relationship. 20-minute call. Let me show you what we can do for you. A big promise with a story. People want to listen. People will. Once you get people on a call, then your research should be ready. 3 points again. Make sure that you've done a research and tell them what their competitors are doing. Start with competitors. It lights up people who are sleeping and don't want to talk to you. Really, my competitor is doing that. Start with what the competitor is doing, what you are not doing, and what is the plan to get you not only to match, but also supersede the competitor. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. 10-point presentation, 10 pages, 20 minutes. That's all you need. And charge high. Charge very high.
Get yourself out there and leverage your existing results is essentially what you're saying. And this, go on, sorry.
I always tell people, I said, if you're really hungry, 3 videos a day, 15 a week, 60 a month. 3 videos, one video takes 5. I made a video in front of you in 3 minutes. The research for that will take about half an hour. So if me and my team are an agency and we don't have business today, what should we do? You should spend 2 hours a day to research at least 3 clients and then make 3 videos. 2 hours of research, 15 minutes of videos. If you can do this every day for 5 days, do it for a month, you'll have 10 clients.
You're a kinder man than I am. I say reach out to 10 companies per day.
Why not? And why not? If it works, sort of replicate it. But the thing is, I've seen every time you give it out to your teams to do, it's not the same. So I do the videos myself for every single client and I send it to them. And it works. And the best part about this is you can scale your business from anywhere in the world, and your company respects you as the founder for being the person who's bringing in the business. And then everything else falls in place.
100%. Well, you can't necessarily expect your team members to have to share the same passion as you as the founder. I think one thing that people really need to take from this is you need to personalize your outreach. And I preach this all the time, and I'm so tired of seeing lazy agency owners coming to me saying, hey, Jordan, I'm not getting any clients. I'm like, hey, how many people you reached out to? I've reached out to 100 people. I'm like, that's a fair amount of people, but what's your outreach like? And it's this copy and pasted message. It's the same thing every time, nothing personal, no research. And it's like, why would anybody give you the respect you're asking for if you're not going to give them one single bit of respect? Because you're already on the back foot by doing cold outreach. So you have to personalize your outreach. It's the only way you're going to get forward.
You're so right. I did the same using a phone outreach just to prove to myself and my team that we're doing I reached out to and did multiple interviews with Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Pat Flynn, Stu McLaren. The top 52 marketers in the world, entrepreneurs in the world. Same. I sent a video to Gary's team. I sent a video to Grant Cardone. Every time the video, it works in different ways. If somebody's launching a book, that's the time they want your attention and your help. So just see what they're doing, help them. They've had a child in their family. Start with saying, hey, Jordan, I believe you just had a baby girl. I've got 2 daughters myself. Make an instant rapport. But if you don't do a research, you're so right. If you don't do a research, then you're setting yourself up for success by doing everything non-personalized.
Yeah. 100%. Avi, thank you so much for this interview today. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and we've squeezed a lot out of you today. I'm Avi, and I hope everyone else has enjoyed this. And also, we actually have quite a lot of people who watch our videos from India, and we get a lot of people who are starting agencies as well, signing up international clients. And I think this will be really helpful and motivational for all of those guys as well. So I hope everyone has enjoyed this. Hope everyone shares this as well with somebody else in the agency space. Avi, where can people reach out to you if they want to reach out? What have you got going on? This is your time, man.
Ask Abi Arya is my YouTube channel, Ask Abi Arya, where you can go and see all the outreaches that I do as an agency person and how I get my clients. So I've done a lot of videos on how I actually get clients doing that. So I don't sell anything on my channel. It's only about telling agency owners and everybody else that the only thing that is stopping you from what you want to do is to have audacious goals. And it sounds so cliched when a word is used by multiple people multiple times. But unfortunately, with lack of a better word, I think audacious is just what it should be. Audacious, relentless. These are two of my favorite words for 2021.
Love it. Thank you, man. All right, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll see you all very, very soon. And make sure you go click the link in the description as well and subscribe to Avi. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye.